Hi everyone, Virago back with another blog. I've got some wine, so this could get interesting. First things first, frizzy hair don't care. It's been raining all day here. Hubby and I did go out, had the window down, my hair got ridiculously frizzy. And if I cared more, I may have tried to fix it, but I just, you're going to take me as I am or, don't take me at all. But that's, it is what it is. The reason why I've actually done this blog is because I got more book mail. As I said in my previous video when I did my book haul, I had a gift card and I did a book outlet book haul, and I still had some, I made some other purchases, but I still had some money left on the gift card. And Barnes & Noble was running a special. I got a coupon because I have the membership, as well as they were also doing a coupon code for spring, as well as they were also doing a buy two get the third book free. So I had to spend the rest of the money on that gift card, so why not buy more books? Especially since I'm not supposed to be buying more books, and since I'm not technically buying them with my own money, I figured, let's just get it out of my system now so that I can just go back to my buying ban. So, the first video I didn't like. And as I have stated before, I am not very good at this whole booktube thing. I'm not good at editing. I actually like to do my videos in one straight run. I don't know if you noticed, there's not very much editing to any of my videos. The first time I did the video, I didn't like it. So, all of the books are actually open, but that actually does save us time, so I don't have to struggle with getting the books open. So why don't we get into my book haul? Let me put my wine down, and we'll get into the books that I purchased. The first book in the book haul is The Witch Doesn't Burn in This One by Amanda Lovelace. This is actually a book of poetry. It is part of a series by Amanda Lovelace. The first book in the series is called The Princess Saves Herself in This One. The gist that I get from the synopsis as well as the titles is that the women in the stories do not need a Prince Charming or a knight in shining armor to come and be their heroes. They can be the heroes of their own story. I've very recently gotten into poetry, I would say in the last 2 to 3 years. I blame Michael Faudet. If you have not read any of his poetry, I highly recommend that you do. The first book that he put out and the first book of his that I read was called Dirty Pretty Things. I will put a link to it in the description below. I thought it was phenomenal, and every year close to either Thanksgiving or Christmas he tends to put out a new book, and every year I get a new one of his books for Christmas because I have a husband who actually follows my book list. When I give him a list of books to get me for Christmas, he actually gets what I asked for. I have a good one. So Michael Faudet, excellent poetry and prose, definitely check it out. This book was, as I said, part of the buy two get the third free, so I had the first book in the series, and as I've said many times before in my other video, once I get one book in a series, I've got to have them all. Plus, as I said, I am starting to get into poetry. It's more of a modern poetry thing. I'm not a huge fan of like the old school classics like Shakespeare and stuff. I don't really jive with that, but the more modern poetry I do enjoy. The next book that I picked was also part of a series. It is the first in the Dark Tower series, The Gunslinger by Stephen King. I love Stephen King's novels. I probably haven't read even a quarter of his novels, although the ones that I have read that I absolutely love. I mean, he just puts out so much content, it's ridiculous. I don't know how he can do it. I don't know how people keep up with it either. However, I very much enjoyed the movie The Dark Tower starring Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey. I don't know what other people thought of the movie. I don't know what critics thought of the movie. I don't really care what other people or critics thought. I just like what I like. I thought they did a fantastic job with the movie. It made me want to read the series that much more. So when I saw that it was available in the buy two get the third free, I jumped on it. And of course, as we all know how I do with series, now that I have the first book in the series, I'm sure that I'll be on the lookout for the next few books in the series. The next book that I got in my haul is also part of a series. I think I'm sensing a theme here. It Devours. It is part of the Night Vale series. It is by Joseph Fink and Jeffrey Cranor. I have not read the Night Vale series. I did get the Night Vale novel in my February book haul for my birthday. And the reason why I did get it was because so many people have been talking about this book. I see it at Comic-Con. I see it in book blogs. I see it on Tumblr. I see it on Twitter. I see it everywhere. You know, there's a podcast. Everybody talks about The Night Vale. It just, so many people are talking about it that I feel like, okay, I just need to read this book and find out what it's all about. And, you know, rather than being smart and just, you know, borrowing it from the library, I'm like, no, I have to have the book myself. So I have the first book in the series. Now I have the second book in the series, and that's that. Now the last book that I purchased is actually a departure from what I normally like. It is Eat to Beat Disease by William W. Lee. I am not a big fan of self-help or health, diet. I'm not into that kind of stuff. However, I am a very big fan of Ming Tsai. For those of you who don't know who Ming Tsai is, he is a world-renowned chef. He's had, television shows on many different networks. East Meets West is one of his most popular shows. It was on PBS, so you may have seen it. He also did a stint on, or The Next Iron Chef. He wasn't actually an Iron Chef, but he was, competing to become an Iron Chef. I just think he's fantastic. I love his personality. I love the way he cooks. I love his recipes. I actually have his one of his recipe books, and I've tried a few recipes from it, and they've actually come out really, really well, which is, also great. But he has been saying for years that what you eat, it makes a huge difference in you in your body, whether it be a positive or a negative difference. What you eat is actually important. And he recommended this book, so I went over to Dr. Lee's Instagram page, and I checked out some of the posts that he was posting, and they are very, very interesting, and it actually really, really made me very interested in buying this book. It was on sale, and as I said, I had coupons, and it's not my normal cup of tea, but I really wanted to read it, so I got it, and I plan on reading it, and hopefully I will get some enjoyment out of it, and hopefully I'll even learn some new tips and tricks to help me in my goal to have a healthier lifestyle. My husband and I have a goal to be old and gray together, and the only way that we're going to do that is if we both stay healthy so that we can actually become old and gray together. So hopefully this will help me in that. That is actually the end of my book haul. The only other thing that I wanted to talk about, other than my book haul, was what I have actually recently read for April. I won't get into what I read for the readathon, which was at the beginning of the month. I will do a book, a wrap-up. I do apologize if I'm stuttering a little bit. I have had some wine, and as I said, I like to do my videos in a straight run-through. There probably won't be any editing. But anyway, the first book that I believe I said in my first vlog is Two Boys Kissing by David Levithan. I've had to put it aside. I am a mood reader. I'm not going to blame it on the writing or the writing style, because I have read books by David Levithan before that I have very much enjoyed. So I'm not blaming it on the writing style. I'm blaming it on myself. I'm a mood reader, and if I am not in the right mood or the right frame of mind to read a book, I can't get into it. So I'm going to set it aside until I'm in the right frame of mind, and then I will try again. So instead of finishing that and setting that aside, I don't like to DNF books. I am a big person in putting a book aside, getting myself in the right frame of mind, and then going back and finishing the book. I have done that before. It's very, very rare that I don't finish a book. And I don't DNF books. My terminology for books that I can't finish is, its kung fu was stronger than mine. And there are very few books that are on that list, but there are some books that are on that list. You can actually find that list on my book likes, which is in the description below. The next book that I got to this month was actually a reread. A audiobook became available in my library queue, so I just went with it. It was The Outsiders by S.C. Hinton. If you have not read the book, what are you waiting for? If you have not seen the movie, get on it. It's a fantastic movie, which is beautifully translated from the book. I mean, it is very rare that a movie is very, very close to the book. I think the only other book that I can think of that is super close to the movie, or I should say the movie that is close to the book, is The Color Purple. Most books, they obviously change things, and they cut things so that it flows better and, the timing and all that. But this movie is very, very close to the book. It is a phenomenal story. It is a fantastic story. You very easily get attached to the characters. You get wrapped up in their lives. You feel for them. You hurt with them. You fight for them. You're with them in these horrible situations. It is a fantastic read. The last time I read this book, I was in elementary school. I was a tween. I wanted to read it as an adult to get a perspective from an adult, and I think I appreciate it even that much more. The movie is fantastic. I've seen the movie a million times. It came out in the 80s. As I said, I'm a child of the 80s. I've seen most popular 80s movies. It is fantastic. It actually made me very upset with myself a few years ago at Comic-Con in Philly. C. Thomas Howell and Ralph Macchio did a little mini reunion for The Outsiders. I did not go to their panel. I really wish that I had done that. I also really wish that I had done the autograph session with those two. I actually do have some pictures of them walking around Comic-Con, and I probably have them posted somewhere. And my husband just came in and totally distracted me. You want to come over and say hi, honey?
No, I don't show my boobies on your stream.
But anyway, it is a fantastic book. It is a fantastic read. It's a fantastic movie. If you have not read the book or seen the movie, I highly recommend that you do it. The other thing that I did since I decided to put down Two Boys Kissing is I picked up Less Than Zero by Brent Easton Ellis. This book, as I said in my previous vlog, is actually based on a movie. I've seen the movie a million times. It's a movie of the 80s starring a very young Robert Downey Jr. If you haven't seen the movie, I highly recommend it. If for no other reason, you can see Robert Downey Jr., while he was actually in the midst of his downward spiral. I didn't know it was based on a book. When I found out it was based on a book, I had to get the book. I'm only about 40 pages in. It's only about a 208-page book, so it actually should be a very quick read. The little bit that I have read is actually very, very good. I'm really into it. I think that the little bit that I've read has actually been translated very well into the movie. It seems like it's really following the movie because, as I said, I saw the movie before I read the book. When I do finish the movie, I will give a full review and let you know what I think of it. But if nothing else, definitely go see the movie. The other thing that I did this month was I read an arc from NetGalley called CO by C.A. Block. It is a sci-fi fantasy book. It's set in space. It's a little bit dystopic. It's set in the not too distant future. The two protagonists are male. There is a bisexual / gay relationship going on between them. It was a good read. I gave it 3 stars in my Book Likes review. I didn't love it. There were a few things that I didn't love. The story was kind of a little bit all over the place. There were some characters that were introduced that were clearly there only meant to further the story, and you really couldn't bond with any of the characters. I didn't feel for the two protagonists. I had a hard time bonding with them. But the concept of the story and the idea of the story was really kind of original. I mean, you really can't say anything is original anymore because everything is kind of like a rehashing of something else. But I did like the concept, and the writing wasn't bad. The story was interesting, so I did give it a 3 stars. At the end of the month, I will do a wrap-up of all of the books that I read for April, and I'll give a more comprehensive review of actually the story. But if you do want to read my review, it's in my Book Likes blog, which, as I said, is in the description below. The only thing that I have planned is I'm going to try to get a few more books read for the end of April, and at the end of April or the very beginning of May, I will do a wrap-up of everything that I've read. And hopefully I will come up with a TBR for May. My idea is I recently read a blog, and I'll put the link to it in the description below. They did a blog talking about all of the series that they had begun but had not yet finished. So what they did was they listed all of the series, they listed how many books were in the series and how many books they'd actually read, and then they posed the question, what's your list? So on a piece of scratch paper, off the top of my head, without actually looking at my library, I started thinking about all the series that I had begun but hadn't finished, and that list got ridiculously long. So perhaps for May, that will be my idea. I think that if I do that, I will start with some of the series that have a small number of books, maybe between 2 and 4 books. For example, I began the Broken Earth series by N.K. Jemisin. The first book in the series is the 5th season. I read that for Dewey's Readathon at the beginning of the month. I thought it was phenomenal. There's only 2 more books left in the series. I could probably bang those out in no time if I just set my mind to it. So that could be my goal for May. I don't know. As I said, I'm a mood reader, so we'll kind of see how it goes. I would like to say thank you to everyone who has clicked on any of my videos, whether you've liked them or subscribed to my channel. It doesn't matter. I appreciate it if you do, but either way, I'm going to keep doing these videos because I'm having so much damn fun doing them. But thank you so much for viewing them. That gives me a little bit more confidence. And I just wanted to say to everyone, I hope that you're all taking care of yourself. As I said, I've had a kind of a rough week, and it kind of reminded me that it's very important to take care of yourself. Self-care is important, and if you can't do it, allow someone else to do it for you. Let somebody else in to help you. And until then, happy reading, everyone.